You. Good morning. Hey, Sandra. It's been a while since I've seen you. How are you, Mama Peeps? Welcome, welcome. I saw someone else slip in, but I didn't read their name fast enough. It's Writer's Encouragement Show time. Hello. Lynn loves God. Me too, Lynn. That's a cool name. Perfect handle. Tells it all right in there in one sentence. Writer's Encouragement Show. I will let you guys know who I am. Hi, Makisha and LaDonna. How is everybody? Yay, Writer's Encouragement Show time. Are you guys ready? Lynn, I'm assuming your name is Lynn since you keep it all simple like that. You can see my feet. Not really. Kidney stone surgery. No fun, no fun. Well, welcome. And well, you sit back and take care, Sandra, while we're talking. Kidney stone surgery. I have actually been there and done that. So kidney stones and me do not get along. In fact, you're going to make me want to drink my water. Okay. Writer's Encouragement Show. It's been a while since I've seen you guys, and we got some news. I thought I'd wait for a little bit longer here to catch a few more faces, but let me introduce myself because there's a handful of fresh names in here too. Yeah, no fun. No, let's not repeat that. Yeah, I'm a writer. My name is Kara Grandel, and I have a pile of kids, 5 kids. I'm an author that is not published yet. I'm in pursuit of publication. I have an agent. I am working with a professional editor right now, and I'm trying to be published traditionally by a traditional publishing house. And I have a group on Facebook that I work with, and we are all working on some creative endeavor of some sort or another, aiming for different kinds of goals, and we kind of track along with each other and keep encouraging each other. Huh, Sandra? That's what we do. And on Tuesday mornings, I do an encouraging show to keep people in the saddle, working baby steps towards their dream. And it's actually very effective, and we see lots of stuff done. So if you are a creative type, even if you're a photographer or a singer or something else other than a writer, you would like this group because we're not selling to each other, not using each other as a marketing strategy. We're actually building a community that sees and witnesses the little steps along the way. And actually, in a very small way, in a very pain-free way, we keep each other accountable to keep moving towards it instead of letting it collect dust on the shelf. So that's what we do. And lots of education to be had here, but mostly it's encouragement. The whole point is to make it so it's not overwhelming. So what are you able to do anything while you're sitting there, Sandra, or are you just gotta recover? Is it simple recovery life? I think a lot of our regular people had stuff. They were letting me know last night that they had regular stuff up and coming. But some neat things in the store. So I want to talk about those. I want to talk the encouraging factor. Who is anybody else in here that's on there? I was going to talk to my normal LaDonna. How are you doing with your stuff? You're doing much better right now. LaDonna, how are you doing? Keeping up over there with your life? Anybody else that's my normal crew in here? Thank you for sharing it out, by the way. I'm still having troubles connecting with Twitter, but I think this one actually went through, weirdly enough. So one of the things that's up and coming is next week we are going to do a second staycation. We've done one once before, and we're going to do it again because it was really successful. So what is a staycation? Well, it's not really a vacation at home. It is a writer's retreat at home or a creative window, blocking out on purpose an extra bit of time to get things done. So, and that's what we want to do. We want to make space to create. That's always a hard, tricky thing to fit into our lives these days. So next week, I'll hold this little thing up. You guys, it's been a while since I've held up my dry erase board. Is it worth a snapshot to you guys? I don't know. So the staycation is coming next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is when I can block the time. So if you want to track with me and make the time to create, then that's awesome. And we have a lot of people in the group that were already getting ready. I don't see most of them in here, but we had Wendy, a bunch of them that were cleaning their workspace. And I'm going to talk about that later because I think it's impossible not to have that kind of stuff happening. Cleaning your workspace is a pretty big integral part of being able to focus on what you're doing as far as writing. And like Brandy, she just made her first time writer space, which was pretty cool. So how am I encouraged this week? Well, there's a lot going on, and that's part of it. Staying fluid and moving forward in it. Just got 2 grandbabies due this fall. Quilts to make. So will you get to quilt with us? And Brandy, I just was mentioning your name. Brandy, yay. Thanks for coming in. I hope it works out. You can hang out. Quilts for your grandbabies. Awesome. So quilts take time. The quilt's hard work. I mean, it's not good for me because I can't cut 2 squares at the same time. Thank you for inviting followers, Brandy. I'm wondering where our normal people, if they didn't get my normal shout out. I think it actually went out on Twitter this time. Can you believe it? So, LaDonna's in here, and so is Sandra. We haven't seen Sandra in a while. She's recovering from a surgery, so that's all that you missed. Thanks for the hearts. Grandbabies 8 and 9, and you get to do, quilts. Okay, so one of the things, I'm going to write on this too. Okay, so let's go back over this real quick. Thank you. It went from 100 degrees yesterday to 50 degrees today, and it's pouring down rain outside. So it's very Oregon, and I've already been to the dentist and back. So I don't have a lot accomplished today, but it's, crazy. Staycation next week. And so maybe you can get on making your quilts on our staycation. So we're blocking out time, which means Jeannie's in the house too. Look, Jeannie, there's your name right there. Jeannie right there, you guys. Follow her too if some of you want, because she's considering actually doing some scopes on her. She's thinking about, yowza. Yeah, like nothing like throwing it at you right when you jump in the room, right? Okay, so, but follow her, because if she ends up on there, now she's not sure yet if she does, but if she ends up on there, you guys are going to eat her up. She's just super fun and so much experience and so much knowledge. She really just has to get on there and chit chat and drink her cup of coffee while she's talking to us, and we'd be good. But she's our interview next week. So Jeannie, we're going to kick off a staycation, which I'm not sure. Are you having staycations with Jeannie's interview? So I imagine your life doesn't slow down. Oh, bummer. I hope it's not a bad connection. Seems like I'm getting a bad connection for some people. But we're doing it, Jeannie, and we're going to start with you. And I told them to follow you because I told them that you might actually get to do some scopes. And there's Audra, too. Good. My normal group is getting here. So, Audra, Jeannie's in here. So if you want to follow her, she might actually, seems to be a bad connection. Well, if anybody else has a bad connection, let me know, and I can pop out and start over again if I need to. Audra had a bad connection with me yesterday, so it's kind of a frustration. So let me know if it's me and I need to actually try something different. Okay, so Jeannie is our interview that's going to kick off our staycation. So the dates are the same. So we're going to wake up, I'm going to do, it's fine for you this time. Okay, sometimes, Jeannie, if you go out and come back in, then it will rescue the scope. So hopefully it works. Okay, so we're going to do the interview in the morning with Jeannie. And let me just tell you, you don't want to miss that. She had so much information that was so off the scale of what I even understand about a publicist. Perfect, Sandra, that it's worth hearing, even if it's new to you and it might not be something you touch for a while. The education is going to be valuable, and her experience. I'm telling you, when people have 15, 20 plus years of experience in the industry, they know a thing or two, and it's worth sitting belly up to the table to hear what they have to say. So she's going to have some giveaways for us, but we haven't squared that away yet. We're working on that. But so I'll get you posted on that as it comes around. But so we're going to start on Tuesday morning with this. And then we're going to jump into our blocked out time. So I've got easy dinners coming. I've gotten help on a few carpools. I'm going to slave drive my house hard over the weekend so that the dirty dishes and the laundry aren't talking to me. Making time to actually write. Yes. So we got it. She was going to give us something to do a non-Instagram giveaway, but I don't know what it is yet, so I'll just know it's coming. We'll figure it out. Jeannie and we're all over it. We're just not all over it right this second. Right, Jeannie? We're going to get there. Life is fun. Life is full, and we're keeping up. But so the staycation is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'll be checking in probably 2 or 3 times a day, the way I did the last time I did the staycation. But here's the cool part. The same evening, Tuesday evening, if you join over at Zoom, if you go to zoom.us, there's an appointment already set up, a scheduled meeting for us to hang out. So I can have multiple people come on and say hello so we can meet the author for the author group. Oh, headed to the airport. See you later. Safe travels. And I'm super excited to hear more about your editing thing when you know. So drive safe and all that. Yes, travel safe. So this number right here is the exact number. So if you go in and make an account and then you say search for a meeting that's in progress and you type in this number, it should connect you right to the exact me in there. So you can connect with it behind the scenes so that on the night of, it's not hard. And you should be able to connect with your cell phone or a land computer. If you do the cell phone, you have to download the Zoom app. And if you do the computer, they run you through this little tiny, a couple steps to get their holding tank, like you would with Skype, just to load it on to your computer real fast. It doesn't take up very much space. It's just a launch to hold the program. And if this works, then we might do it again in the future, but I want to test run it with this day. So, but with inside here, you'll watch for a graphic inside our author group so that we can actually meet up and see each other's names, which will be cool, huh, Brandy? So, so these are what's coming, and I'm excited about that. I don't even know if Jeannie stuck around. She was having a bad connection, but that's what we're doing. And then I want to talk shop now because it's the Writer's Encouragement Show. And one of my favorite things about teaching this show is that it requires that I slow down and figure out what is happening inside my writer's brain. What things are being good for me, what things are being bad for me, and what things you guys are doing that are being good for me, right? And so I want to chat. Do you guys want to chat? Brandy, hopefully you can hang out with me. And Sandra, you guys want to chat about this? Because these shows I am sticking on my website. So if you guys have missed some, okay, I'm too behind. I'll just tell you that right now. But I'm planning to put them up there so that if you miss one of the Writer's Encouragement Show and you don't want to look through all of my past scopes, you can actually go back and see them. And the purpose of that is for when you're discouraged. If you're discouraged, then you need to go find my website and get up back there. Go clear back to the beginning and see how much we've grown and changed since the beginning. It's pretty cool. And it might be that one of the things that was said weeks ago is best timed for you to hear now. So, of course, my website, www.karagrandel.com. But so we're coming off a busy season over here. Which is there any other season but busy? Does anybody over there do any of you guys have a season other than busy? Tap for hearts if you know what busy is. I would just be tapping away right now if I could, because busy is the name of the game, right? Joy, welcome. So I did all my announcements, Joy, and I'm just getting started on the actual writer's encouragement part. And I was just talking about being in a season of busy, which I'm pretty certain is everybody. No, you don't have busy over there? Oh, you're healing. You're sitting back getting recovered, which is different. But always when you're sitting back and trying to recover from something like that, then you're the one who's wishing you were busy. Yeah. Okay, so Writer's Encouragement Show, I'm trying to introspect and figure out what it is that I'm thinking about and dwelling on and what's helping me and what's hard. Okay, so in my busy in the last 2 weeks, what we've had is a lot of graduation parties. Lots of them. Because I'm very much a part of the youth in my school and in my church, and the kids at school, the kids, we're pretty tied in, being the coach, all that kind of stuff. So we have a lot of relationships that it's important to show up for these kids for their graduation parties and be a part of that. Watch them. I want to. I don't just need to and have to. I want to. And hello, Hero Burke. And with that comes all kinds of people. When you go to a graduation party, you're sitting around with a bunch of people that you've seen or known around the school. And guess what they know about me? Guess what questions they ask me? Have any of you guys actually braved up and told the people around you that you're writing books? Have you actually told them that you're trying to create something like the quilts and stuff like that? Do you have people that ask you how things are going? Because I had that a lot. Oh, not outside your family. Well, I am obviously a blabbermouth. I love to chit chat, and I am a community builder. I like to encourage other people's dreams even around me, and I find it very very, very helpful if someone else is chasing a dream and I find out about it, and then we share our dreams, and then I can encourage them in theirs and they can encourage me in mine. I work that way. So of course, lots of people know that I'm writing a book. Lots of people have been watching me for several years now, 2 and 3 years. So at this graduation thing, guess what question they're asking me? When is your book going to be published? Is it going to be published? So they do it real serious. They say, so in all of this, eventually, are you going to have a book published? And they say it so nice, and they say it because they're supportive of me. They say it because they're excited about my dream. And people keep asking you, do you have a book? Are you going to do it? I mean, you're sitting there recovering. It would be a pretty good time to begin. But so they're asking me when my book's going to hit. What they want to do is support me. They want to get behind me and help me out, buy my book, read my book, see what it is I've been up to for all of these years. Because and yet when they say it, they're supportive. But what does my writer brain hear? What do you hear when you hear them asking? The pressure is a little bit scary. It is. It's an accountability though, which I like too. Just blogging at this point. Blogging is a pretty darn big ground for practicing your writing skills. There's a lot of good that happens in blogging. And so then you just have to answer this question, Sandra. Are you a writer that blogs, or are you a blogger that writes a book? There's two different head cases. Ask Brandy. We've talked about this a few times. So when they're asking me, so are you going to get this book published? Are you going to, when is it? All I hear, my little writer's brain, my writer's heart hears, chop, chop, chop. Are you going to actually get this done? What are you spending all your time doing over there? Twiddling your fingers. Are you actually going to are we going to see the finish of this? Are you just talk? Are you going to actually get this thing up and running, right? That's sort of, hello, Raleigh. When your heart is ready, I'm going to write that down. Sandra has a memoir in her. Memoirs are hard works. They are a lot of healing and a lot of soul searching and a lot of forgiveness. Usually, is if someone has enough of a story to write a memoir, then they usually have stuff to work through, huh, Sandra? So maybe we'll talk about that when we do. Yeah, hearts for Sandra. That's right. We can do that, Sandra. And that's a journey in itself. And sometimes it's worth taking it for you, not for anybody else. And if someone else reads it and gets help and healing, yeah, hard stuff. I can't even imagine, sister. So the expectation of people when they're talking to me about these writers' encouragement things, that's what's my heart is not hearing support. I have to choose to hear support and encouragement in it because I know that's the intention of their words. And my impatient self is like, I don't know tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow holds. I'm doing everything I can. It just takes a long time. I tell everybody it's construction speed. They built a bridge by my house a couple years ago, and for 2 years we had construction traffic right in front of our house. Every carpool, I carpool my kids back and forth to school. And that is what this book journey feels like. Construction speed, right? Stop, go, sit, wait, move a little bit, practicing patience was a big kicker for me. So that's what I heard. And so when I got to thinking about that, I realized that there's a couple other areas that's happening. And the scripture that the Lord has really tapped into me for this last couple of weeks is guard your heart. Guard your heart. It's the wellspring of life. And guarding is something we have to do offensively and defensively. So now I've actually talked to you in sports terms. Hers may have been slow and steady one, but in the end, he received the victory. That's right. That's why the next right thing is important, which is what we're going to talk about. But I'm actually going to talk about some of our next right things that we mentioned. But offense and defense is what I want to say. So guarding your heart, because it's the wellspring of life. So guarding my heart offensively and defensively are two different things. So offensively moves forward and takes ground and tries to gain points, but then defensively it keeps things out and it protects things. So I'm going to bring that concept through. I want to name a couple more things. So first of all, I have all of these people's opinions and their encouragement encouragement that is me by my own heart as an opinion, right? Okay, so then here's another thing that I've been watching happen. I've had two people come into my life lately that are very, very solid people, good lives, great. They're business people. They own their own business. They're women. Both of these happen to be women. So I don't know that that makes a difference, but they are. They own their own business. They're big members of their community. They're solid in their church. They're well-rounded in their family. They're doing great, right? They've got all this stuff going for them. But both of them have so much on their plate that they have big responsibilities. Some of them have real estate, legal matters. They have business decisions that are like safety for the public minded. They have, juggling opportunities for a lot of people underneath of them, sometimes 200 and 300 people under them. I mean, big, big things. And yet they end up having these really moments over really tiny things, like a dirt smear on the wall or grass that's growing up in a weed form in the middle of the sidewalk. I mean, it's the funniest things. The dishes in the sink. They have these great responsibilities, great opportunities, and yet it's the little tiny things that's the straw that breaks the camel's back. Do you know what I'm talking about like that? When as far as their reactions and their impact, all of this. And both of them, when I got to talking to them, one of them doesn't write lists or anything at all, and the other one used to and has gotten away from it. So neither one of them are brain dumping and keeping track of the stuff that they have to get done and being able to tell the little things to shut up and get in line. So so they're busy. What we want to do, Sandra, if you're going to write your memoir, it's not going to write itself. You're going to have to create a space in your life. Joy and Brandy and LaDonna with the quilts and whoever was making the quilts. Sandra, was that you that was making the quilts? If you're going to get any of that done, it actually isn't going to do itself. We actually have to be on purpose with our lifestyle and our time and our balance to make sure this fits in there. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it all by itself. So there is a sit your booty in the chair and get it done factor. But if we don't name our time and be doing the next right things in small little measures and all that kind of stuff, then what happens is that the littlest things, you can be working really well in your creative world and then lose your patience with your kids. No quilting for you. Who was it that was quilting? Somebody just told me. I lost it. Must be intentional. Yeah, for the year. Intentional. I think it's LaDonna. LaDonna, is it you that had the new grandbabies? She might not even be in here. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so even that, those quilts don't quilt themselves. And they take how much time does one of those quilts for your grandbabies take? Because I'm sure they're a baby size. So, but how much time? How much time does it take you to put in there? Is it a fast work for you, or does it take a long time? So, but it's actually, so for them, for my two friends that were business owners and all that crazy, if they were to write the lists, they would be guarding their heart in both a defensive way and an offensive way. Offensively, because they would be able to have a safe holding tank for all the things that were pressuring them so they could have a moment's rest. Do you guys have rest for your brain and rest for your soul, your mind, your will, and your emotions? Do you have that incorporated into your day? Is that put into the schedule so that you can have a second to collect your thoughts and have a new inventive idea without the pressure of all the to-do lists pushing you around? You've made over 30. Well, how awesome. That's impressive. How long does one take? It would take me a long time, let me just tell you, and nobody would want it. It's not my forte. I'm impressed with people who can cut two squares the same size. The creative ad-libby part of my personality and quilting do not get along. So, but the guarding, okay, so I said that's offensively, but defensively too. If they actually contain all of those responsibilities in one place, then they can actually look at it and say, no, on purpose, I'm actually going to take this off my list right now. Yeah, it does. And it seems like, Brandy, doesn't it seem like your brain is waiting for the perfect opportunity to be quiet and create? Like, isn't it waiting for a silence of some sort, like a soul silence, to be able to have this good deposit in you to create out? Yeah, so in order for you to get that, we actually have to do this thing, this other stuff. And that's exactly what these people need. They are burning themselves out, and they're going to get sick if they're not careful because they don't have they're not pushing their life around. Their life is pushing them around. And so this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Writer's Encouragement Show today is about putting in an offense and defense of your heart. Your heart is where the creative journey is coming from. Sandra, you can't tell me that if you sit down to create this memoir, it's not going to pull greatly from inside of your heart. And that you have to be able to be in a place where your emotions can handle it, your mind and your mental can handle it. And in order for that to happen, life has to be in order and in balance. And there's not going to be a perfect window for that to happen. Life is going to be spontaneous and it's going to have crazy, unexpected things. Yeah, and it just haven't been. But you know, Brandy, I bet if you actually wrote down when you are doing it, if you wrote down, instead of focusing on when you're not getting it in, focus on when you are getting it in. Because I bet you there's a routine to it and you just aren't seeing it. I bet you it's you get a couple times in every couple of weeks. Yeah, so much better going on. So in your planner, don't just write down when you wished you would have done it and you missed it. That's what you're afraid of, a lot of pain. You know what? But God, I'm going to say something gets said very often. Do you realize that when you have pain, it's also an indicator that you're alive? Okay, so practical pain. I mean, we don't want to deal with pain, with chronic pain. Chronic pain is not what I'm talking about here. But if you have a kid and they touch the wood stove or the burner on the stove and they get burned, that was a safety mechanism, told them to get away for one, but the pain is also a symptom of being alive. It's alive. So if you touch on those pains and you go through those pains, you will only be more alive on the other end of it. There will be a piece of you that you gain back that has probably been a little numb and a little set aside for that. Wonderful woman, huh? I'm a wonderful woman. I haven't even recognized your name, Mr. Fugisima. So guarding the heart, for it's the wellspring of the life. And you know, the Bible says that every other facet of your life comes from it. So, so they get tapped out on the smallest thing. And so with that, the guarding and the offense and defense, what I just said, when you write down what it is required of you, or at least mentally process on some form for yourself and you get it contained. Hi, Joy. I'm glad you get to come back. Yeah, you'll have to just listen for a bit. We're doing a normal show that these people that are listening are regular. Oh, so be patient with yourself if you're learning a language. Oh, okay. It's good to have you back. We're happy to have you, Joy. So the offensive and defense wants me to tell my story, just trusting his timing. And we're going to talk, we'll just at the end, we're going to pray over your timing, because I'm not rushing you, Sandra. I'm not rushing you. I hope that I'm watering a seed that's planted, because if you have a book in you that you're supposed to write, even if no one ever reads it, then the goal should be for us to see that book published for you. Not published. I didn't say that right. The goal for us should be, for us around you, is to see you safely through that journey, to see you through that memoir experience. So know, Sandra, that if you go through and you have to face that pain, you have a place right here in Author for the Author, in with us, where we will be able to know. We understand the part about getting what's on the inside to the outside. That is a struggle for all of us. And obviously we can't walk a mile in your shoes with whatever that you would be writing the memoir about, but we can understand the taxing experience and the emotional experience. So we would be able, even if we weren't all up in your business and reading your stuff and knowing your content, we would actually be able to say, Sandra, what you're doing is worth doing. And that's what I'm saying. Sandra, when you consider doing this, it's actually an experience that if it's at all something you're supposed to do, then you need to do it. Because God He's not trying to take something away from you. He's trying to get something to you through that journey. Whether anybody else reads it and whether anybody else is blessed by that experience. Now, obviously, we kind of hope that it's others minded, kind of gets it off ourselves. It helps. But if you need to go through that process, then you have a safe house inside Author for the Author. Loss of your husband. Oh, I do think I remember that now. You were widowed, weren't you, with a pile of kids? Am I remembering right? Because I was connected with you a few months back, and my short-term memory, I have you forgotten already, so you have to refresh me. So one last thing I want to say inside the offensive and defensive part of guarding your heart is it has to do with saying no. And saying no. So when you brain dump and you have a list of things through, yeah, there you go. When you have your list laid before you, then, and if it's like me, if it's a real brain dump, you have stuff for your writing in there, you have stuff for your family, you have the commitments you've made, you have chores around your house, you have maybe your yard and your garden, you have projects that you want to do, you have, if you're really brain dumping, it should touch every facet of your life. Devotions, books you want to read, everything should be on there. So, and there is something really, really rewarding in actually seeing something on there that's tapping you. It's saying, in the future, you should make time for me. In the future, you should make time for me. And it's on this list. And then you put your finger right back on it and you say, you know what? I am intentionally choosing to say no to you. You will be stealing my time that's better suited spending on my family. You would be stealing time that would be better suited spending on my craft or my writing. There's something really powerful about that. And you know, Brandy, sometimes you're working on creating an environment to write, but I bet you if you look at it, you're saying no to a few things to make the space for that you should know that you're saying no to them. You should value that you're saying no to them because they are creating a greater opportunity for you to get this gift on the outside, what's inside outside. And that's a guard your heart thing. When you tell it no, and I actually have to admit that I have to get better at that. I've got myself in a couple of things right now where I've said yes, and I've known very well that I should have said no from the beginning. But it's hard for me to say no when people are up close. When they're up close and they feel like friends, and then I say yes because of them more than because of what I should be doing. But I need to get comfortable. I'm going to practice on you guys. I need to get comfortable saying, you know, I'd really like to say yes, but if I pick that up, I am not going to get done the things that are on my plate to get done. I am so sorry. Woo, that's practice. I need some hearts from that. And honestly, when I'm working on my brain dump list, I have to say that to myself. You know, Kara, I am so sorry that you can't do this. You want to do this. This would be a really good thing. But you don't have, if you do this, then you don't have the freedom. One of the words that was spoken over me at my church at my women's retreat this weekend talked about the river that's coming out of my life. These giftings, these God things that are coming out of my life. And they spoke over me and they said, stay inside of your banks. Don't spill over your banks and go off, because the force and the power and the excellence of the river comes from the staying between its boundaries and going. So it said to know your boundaries and stay inside of them. So that is, for me, if I stay inside my boundaries and I know my boundaries, that is an offensive thing and a defensive thing when it comes to guarding my heart and guarding your time is such a big part of that too. So hopefully that's beneficial to you guys, because that's very much where I'm at. So I'm coming around the corner to our staycation retreat, and I don't even know if you guys realize this. Maybe it's not as real for you when it's not your time that you get to actually say, I'm really doing this staycation. But this is our staycation dates. And as soon as I name this time and I say this is a concentrated writing time, I'm gonna elbow out everything else as best I can and make room for it, then I'll just tell you right now that I am highly motivated to get a bunch of stuff done, because I don't want it to steal my time. I don't want it to steal. I want to be able to sit down here and freely write and create. And so sometimes it's to-do lists, my next right thing kind of to-do list inside my writer's world, and sometimes it's in my home, and sometimes it's in my relationships. But I'm telling you, I fight for this. Do you guys fight for this staycation at all? Do any of you get to join me? Find that you're wanting to fight for this creative time and make space for it and get a few things in order so that you can enjoy it when it happens. And I want to bring up with the staycation part, I want to bring up what we did, the next right things, and we're getting ready to move into next right things. But Brandy, did you notice the theme with our next right thing that you were very much a part of? I'm not sure you actually commented, but I know you were doing it because I saw your picture from the other part. But so Wendy has been on a clean sweep in her whole house experience. You'll be out of town, but the staycation was, yeah, it was great. But when you get yours, hopefully you'll pinch a 2-day window somewhere in your own schedule where you can do the same thing. And I'm telling you, watch it happen, because when you do that, when you name it, you will find that you're motivated to get a bunch of other stuff out of the way so that it's not interrupting and stealing from your creative time. But you were making your desk space. I wanted to talk about that because it is a guard your heart factor. Did you realize that when you made that little desk space with your new desk surface and your new little sanctuary for writing, that you were making a safe place for your brain to associate with writing and creating, for your heart to say, when you sit down in that chair is made for a certain thing. Yeah, you just needed a place for it. And it's awesome. And not only that, it's way more comfortable than sitting on your bed all that time, although there is a place for writing from your bed. But okay, so Wendy, so you made your space. Wendy is cleaning her space. Melanie has been working on her desk issues for a long time. I just did it for me. I'm gearing up for the staycation, and one of the things on it was to clear my surfaces. Why is that? Why is that? And that's where I'm saying it's a guard your heart thing. Oh, a spark of inspiration. That's right. Where you can see it and you associate it with good things, and you associate it with personal winning and success. That's pretty cool. So, okay, so Brandy, she had her new workspace. Amber, she's doing 100 days of simple joy. So she's focusing on seeing joy around her, which is also a tending of her heart. Do you see that? She's actually guarding her heart. Who knows? Is she blocking out bad news from the media? Lord knows we have enough of it these days. The news has been filled with tragedies, like big time. Distracting to work in a cluttered space. Yes, it is. So she's doing 100 days of simple joy. And then Stephanie and Joe, they're trying to write consistently. They're doing 100 days of writing 100 words. Well, what is happening when is that an offensive guarding of the heart or a defensive guarding of their heart? Well, when they're beginning, it's offensive, because they're saying, we're going to move forward into this. We're going to offensively pull from our time enough time to write 100 words. 100 words isn't too much. I think that's actually doable. Sometimes when people say, I'm going to write every day for this much, I'm going to get my work in, it feels unattainable. But 100 words, 100 days, that could be in your journal. You could be writing a journal entry for 100 words. That seems doable. But I imagine that when they hit day 50 or day 75, they're going to have some defensive work to do. They're going to have some things that are happening inside of their heart that they're going to have to guard against. So when Brandy, when that visual aid of inspiration at your desk, when that turns on you and it starts to haunt you and tell you that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then there's this process you have to go through that names it, talks to it, get it in your planner, put it in its place, tell it no, so that it's guarding the creative deposit in your life, the creative outflow. It's a dance. I mean, everything I'm talking about here is totally introspective. It's on the inside. Nobody's telling you to do these things. It's inside here. And it's a very real part of any creative endeavor, especially writing. So let's see. And Candace was working on her logo and her opt-in stuff, free stuff for an opt-in email list. Well, that's an offensive strategy. She's working. Obviously, she's grounded and she's getting it done. But if you listen to her talk, she also had household chores and other things. So she's doing the balance thing of trying to hold back on all of the things so she can make this room to make the logo, make the other things happening. And I think she had a win moment. So then when you have win moments, do you have a place of recording your wins? Do you know they used to talk about vision boards, where you would make a board on your wall and you would put stuff on it to paint the vision of the things that you want and where you want to be and what you want to be a part of your life down the road, 5 or 10 years down the road. But they're now saying psychologically that's a really good thing to do, but sometimes it's discouraging because you don't see the things come to fruition fast enough or even at all. So they talk about a journey board, which is the same concept. Instead of filling it with things you want in your future, you actually fill it with the things that actually happen. Yeah, so you're putting up there. So you would, on your journey board, Brandy, you would be taking a little picture and printing it out and pinning it up or gluing it up on your journey board to say, created a healthy workspace for my thing. Yeah, that's right. And you know how much change happens when you go through this journey? When Sandra sits down and she writes that memoir, she will not be the same person getting up from the table when she's done on the other side. She won't be. I don't know if you're still in here, Sandra, and I'm talking. Yeah. So Sandra, you won't be. So the first times you do things, when you start Scrivener, you should do that. The day you pick up your pen and you call yourself a writer for the first time, that should be marked. If you have history, how many of you guys have had history as a writer? You know, milestones aren't always even good. Like Brandy, you accidentally deleted that and had to process that whole thing. That is a milestone on your journey. So by the time, and here's the thing, when you do get to the goal, let's say that both of you guys ended up published, down the road published. People are going to ask you to see your stripes. They want to know where you at when you were on it. Yeah. When you go back and you can say, I was feeling victory here, I was feeling failure here, but I kept going. This encouraged me. This was my resource. You know, take a little thing and stick author for the author on there, or Periscope Kara Grandel on there, because this writer's encouragement is a part. You are getting food right now. And if you're getting it on a regular basis, then put it up there because it is a part of your journey, because this is your community. These are your people. I'm not the only one. These are your people. And LaDawn, are you still in here? No, LaDonna was in here. LaDawn's not in here. But LaDawn, you know what she put on her to-do list? This was her next right thing from last week. Yeah, exactly. And once you're there, you'll have a whole new enchilada to eat, but you're going to have forgotten the between pieces. And it's important to me. That's why I'm even keeping these shows, because these shows are changing. My deposit to you guys is changing and growing as I change and grow. Okay, so LaDawn, she put rest, read, no deadlines. That was hers. So is that offensive or defense? Is she guarding her heart in an offensive way or in a defensive way? What do you guys think? She said rest, reading, and no deadlines. Yeah, for sure defensive. Like she's saying no, right? She's had to say no to the deadlines. She's had to say no to any busy that's crowding in on her rest and her read time, right? But really think about it. Think about it. If she really puts the guard up and does the defensive thing, she's allowing some inflow. That's right. And she's allowing a space for think and a space for counsel the Lord. She's allowing rest. When you're well rested, is that offensive or defensive? It's a little bit of both, huh? Sleep, girls. Sleep on a normal routine. Get your sleep. Get your rest. It's, you know, one time I felt like the Lord whispered to my heart that it was my moral obligation to be well rested for my family. Because if mama was insane because she didn't get a good night's sleep, that wasn't their fault, and I should not be traipsing my family through my emotional upheaval because I wasn't well rested. So it was my moral obligation to be well rested for my family, which was a big deal. She keeps waking up at night. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. There's a lot more to parenting, and obviously I could dip into parenting, but I choose not to on here because there's so many different variables. Okay, so now that we've talked about the next three things, it's time to name them. So I'm actually really excited to say that my next right thing between this Tuesday and next Tuesday is actually to write. To write. I get to write. I've pushed a lot of things back. I'm working hard. Yeah, I do. Mine slept through the night. I have secrets on that, Brandon. You might have to Skype with me. I have insider secrets. 5 kids slept through, all of them slept through the night around between 8 weeks and 12 weeks old, depending on the kids. Sleeping through the night being 6 or 7 hours, 3 nights in a row. And then it moves up to 8 and 10. So I got insider secrets. That's a parenting topic. But it might be your next right thing to figure out what I'm talking about. It's about to be 3. Mine is about to be 3. Oh, 3. Wait a minute. 3 what? 3 years old? 3 months? Wait a minute. I missed that. You need to fill that one in. I lost the train of thought for you. Oh, she has to be held 3 years. Oh, yeah. She's got a habit there. That's what that is. So you're in Habitville. All right, people. So next right thing. What's your next right thing? Yeah, being sleep deprived that many times in a row. Yeah, that's a crazy train, girlfriend. That should be your next right thing, is to figure out some counsel on that. Begin to train a new habit for her. Unless there's extenuating situations, and that's why I don't do the parenting. There's always an extenuating situation. So I only have a couple of you on here. Do you guys have next right things for me? Yep, more consistent blogging. Sandra, yeah. Sandra, will you put up your blog so I can see it again? I know I've looked at it once. Stuff out here done in preparation for your trip. Where you get to go? I think you mentioned, but where do you get to go? We have a bunch of stuff coming. I get to be at the gym all weekend. I'm going to be at the gym Thursday, Friday, and Saturday all day. So my writing day is actually tomorrow, and I have a few things I have to do. So it's not like I'll get a ton done. Family, Alabama, super cool. I'm super glad your family gets to take a vacation. Yay! We have some of that coming. We do. I might be periscoping from a van or vehicle at some point on. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. To write, I did want to say, trusting his plan. How perfect. Trusting his plan.wordpress.com. Okay. Perfect. I will go peek at your stuff, Sandra, to see what style of writer you are, because that's always a surprise for me, and I love that part of being on here. Decluttering. I've been up to stuff. Yeah, perfect. Decluttering to get ready for the trip, and then you get to come home to it. Do you know how powerful that will be? Yeah, mine's a little chaotic downstairs. I think I got to whip around my house a little bit more. Yeah, will you put it up? It's trusting his plan, all one word, no capitals, wordpress.com. .wordpress.com. Yeah, we'll come see. It really is. I like being able to look and see. It's a little hard when people ask me to do a whole bunch more than that, but I still want to get to know you guys, because when I know where your journeys are, then I gain my blessing. Like all of these people's next right things. Do you know how invaluable this is to me, to see that they're decluttering, that they're making a space for rest, that they're making time to write, that they're looking for simplified joy. I mean, this is like a textbook class right here, right inside of our very own next right things. It's a powerful thing. I am interested in doing this. I hope some of our replayers, I hope you guys on replayers, if you heard me talk about you, you got to heart it up, because that, I'm telling you, you guys did it the show this morning. You guys' things were very much the samples of guarding our heart and guarding our time and drafting together, seeing each other's progress happen. And I know there's a bunch more of it happening. We have like Audra's got her editing out, and that's such a risky thing to stick your edits out there. I have edits out there, and I also have, I just sent off my beta readers for my nonfiction stuff. So I'm too chicken to talk about it much more than that at this point. But I have to say that was a big to-do thing off my list, and I did it. And the ACFW classes are done. I sent those off. So some of my big things that were on my plate, I just got to get ready for my little interview in next Tuesday and be ready for staycation. But staycation is all about getting it done. Yeah. So let's take a deep breath. Brandy, you're going to face decluttering, but you're going to do it with the idea that you're offensively guarding your heart and you're defensively guarding your heart. And in the end, that house in order is going to serve your family and serve your dream. It's going to be in line with your priorities, with your long-term goal. And we're going to pray over Sandra, because Sandra's getting well. She's getting well in body, but something about this Periscope for her was the beginning of getting well in her spirit man or soul man, wherever she's housing that memoir, right? So Brandy, will you pray with me over Sandra? And if you guys like it, do the Heartsville, because that's the agreement part. That's how I know you're doing it. So Sandra, we just lift you up right now. We just thank you that your body is well and whole and recovered in Jesus' name. We say, Jesus, roll the stone away, even the kidney stones, in Jesus' name. Grace over all of that, all that's involved there. Health, that her tomorrows are better than her todays when it comes to that part. And Lord, we lift up the memoir. We just lift up Sandra's story. And Lord, I just speak grace. And even you had ministering angels. You had ministering angels more than once in your life. So we just release angels to go and minister to her, that they would shore up her heart and shore up the sensitive spots, the things that we can't understand in her grief story and her loss, that you would blow on the flame of this, that if you have an experience for her to go through when it comes to healing, that you would give it to her, that you would give her what you're after there, the story of her life from the inside out for Sandra. We just speak grace, grace over it. And if she doesn't do it, if she never does it, grace, grace to that too, in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, you guys are pretty valuable to me, so I'm going to get off here. My next right thing is to get 3 episodes of Writer's Encouragement Show up on to my website, which is quite an endeavor, but we can get it done. And have a good day. It's a good day to get some stuff done. So go be blessed. All right. I used to say, breathe in courage, exhale fear, and do your next right thing. That was my thing. So I should probably say that more often because I need to hear it. Breathe in courage, exhale fear, and do your next right thing, one thing at a time. See you guys. See you later.